Welcome to Balls and Brews. Cheers, boys.
Cheers, cheers gents. Pod 83. Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. Oh, give me some of that.
That's not bad.
Yeah, actually, I was expecting more of a punch.
I was too.
For a 14 and a half?
What are we drinking, Charlie?
Jarbridge 2023 by our fallen heroes at Imbibe. This is one of the bottles that I went and picked up for half off. And
yeah, tell us about that.
So, yeah, I also went to, I'll describe this beer here first. So it's a dark Belgian strong ale aged in 4 different whiskey barrels. Frey Ranch, Wild Turkey, Waffords, and Blanton's. Get it.
All good whiskey.
Know what I'm talking about? Yeah, no, they're not
beer.
fucking around for sure. But for 14.5, man, it is relatively drinkable. I'm also glad that we are splitting it 3 ways, just because, like one of those would be,
It's a sitter down.
That's why you wanted to open that one.
yeah,
That's a take a nap.
yeah, So 14.5 is basically like taking 2 shots in one beer, as it were. But yesterday they had the Dancing on the Ruins was what they called it. It was their big duty send off, and it was popping. There were people. The whole line was around the block for hours until basically close to the end. And they were smart. What they did was they made the bottles and cans full price again, so people were paying full price for rather than like during the weeks up were half off. Yeah. So the pints were only $5, which is cool. So.
All up.
Yeah, I had 2 really good sours and a really good bourbon barrel-aged stout. Their Sound of Silence, their cuvee, so it has a little bit more sweetness to it. It was amazing. But that was a one-and-doner for me, too, for sure. But this beer, for 14.5, incredibly drinkable. It's the 2023 edition as well, so that means it's aged for at least a full year, a little plus, right? So,
yeah.
Cellar beers, dude, they do exist. Rest in peace, Imbibe. Fuck, man. If the brewers, just kind of duck their head for a little bit and come back as a new brewery, they'll have some buzz. Like, the whole community, I think, knows those guys. Matt and Jason are the brewers. So, okay. Well, it's a sad moment to kind of, I just wish you well, Imbibe.
What else? Did you drink anything new this week, Trev?
Actually, I did go to Bighorn on Wednesday night, and I tried the Parlay 6 IPA because I hadn't had that.
I like that.
I
really
did
like
too.
that.
It's a good IPA.
It was fruity, and it didn't pack that hot punch that I thought it might be.
Traditional,
revision
sure.
of guys.
Sure.
So that was nice. And then I also had I think it's 50/50's.
50/50's anything is.
I think it's the Donner Party Porter.
Classic.
Solid.
Classic.
Oh, and then I had
Solid.
it was Whiskey Wednesdays, so it's $1 off all whiskeys. So I had to get
top,
a whiskey.
Top. Give me that top.
And Heather said she noticed one bottle at your house that she had a smell of that was really nice. It was the basil
Hayden toast.
toast. Yes, and we both got a glass of that. And
That's
that was
very
I
good.
really
Good
liked
call.
that.
Good
that
call.
was
That is a
really
very tasty whiskey.
That-
I've had some sipperoos with that guy over there.
Seriously, that was like one of my favorites.
Yeah, it's a good one for sure. Basil Hayden in general is good, but the Basil Hayden toast is.
I would say it's
pretty good.
probably in front of some of the other ones that I've had from that distillery, as it were.
Yeah, that was good stuff, man. What about you, Z?
Well, we went to Brew HaHa Friday night, me and Charlie. Good beers all the way around. The Reds made a show. Everybody seemed to have a red, and this was the first year that had happened.
I was in appreciation to actually there was a good balance. If you wanted dark, you could drink dark, which was like the first. Normally it's like IPAs and like just regular pales, and like you'll get a brown,
I'm happy
porter.
to
got
hear
an
that
amber.
because with the wintertime, you expect more darker beers.
You always think. I always think Winterfests, warmers, things like that, and it's very rare that. But like, You're right. It was a good showing for mid-range to dark beers.
I even had an amber at a place. I don't remember which one.
It was the Nevada Amber from
the one next to the melon one, next to these guys.
Not Amendment 21, right?
It was
next to him, but it was a local brew.
Yeah,
I can't pull that name either. I'm sorry.
Sleeve or
no, it wasn't Sleeve. They didn't show out. Shoe Tree wasn't there either.
Yeah, Fox was there.
Fox was there, and that's unfortunately the one disappointing beer we had.
There was like a metallic taste. There was something wrong with like the tap. I think.
I don't think the beer itself was, but it was it.
But their red was solid. It's still.
I didn't go back for the red. The best, Irish. You went and got the Irish.
The best red though was from Tonopah called the Mucker Red. That beer is legit.
That's one that I sampled a couple of times for sure.
And then I drank a sour the rest of the night.
A Mystic Voyage, which
you were drinking this sour.
It was like raspberry lemonade, bro.
Dude,
especially at that point in the night because we found it like later. That was like one of our last
and light and refreshing.
That's what we were looking for.
Palate cleansing.
After all the darks, it was like oof, boy,
I ended up drinking because I had the Schussbrim red. I had the red.
I had the honey wheat from there, which is super good. The raspberry wheat, yum.
So that keg blew when me and Johnny were
in line to try and go and get it.
Dude, it stalled up the whole line, and we ended up bouncing out.
Sure.
And that's when I went and got the red from Fox.
Yeah.
Gotcha.
Because their line was short.
Right there, and they're right there. They were right off the hip of Schussbrim. Yeah.
Yeah, but good beers.
Local beers showed out for sure.
Yeah.
What'd you think of that fucking refresher thing by
oh, dude, Trev. So
New Belgium
makes a Faderade.
A Faderade.
It's Gatorade with alcohol. They call it a refresher, and it tasted like we had a lemon lime one and a mango one.
It
comes
in
like Gatorade.
Comes in like a little prime bottle looking thing, like that kind of style bottle, and it was 5% alcohol, and it tasted darn near close to a Gatorade light kind of thing.
Yeah.
Like
get your electrolytes, right?
It did.
It's what the plants crave,
Dude, it was cool.
That hydration after that dehydration.
Right. No, it's talk about it's like the concept of a vodka Red Bull, which is like a suppressant and a depressant at the same time. Or a stimulant and a depressant at the same time. Your body's just like, fuck.
Did you have you didn't have the latte beer, but I had the latte beer.
I couldn't.
Tonopah shelled out, dude. They had four excellent.
I couldn't do the latte. It was a latte.
It was a latte.
It was.
Was it 5% coffee?
No, it tasted. He
didn't even try it.
It was like a latte.
Literally looking
at
it,
coffee.
Exactly. It looked like some.
It
looked like
they have some of them at
a mix of like a white girl order at Starbucks is what it looked like to me, dude. Just coffee with so much cream in it that you just don't even know it's coffee anymore.
Hey, we all like the cream.
That's your choice.
But then they had that other stout.
Oh yeah, the raspberry stout, which I liked. I put that probably like second overall in the darker beers that I drank. I mean, obviously the Eclipse from 50/50 is what I came back to. I love this barrel aged stuff, dude. That's like if I'm gonna go deep or dark or heavy, it's a barrel age for sure. But
I mean, it's definitely a different kind of beer. Really,
it is. Oh yeah, no, you have to. It's just like anything. It's an aggressive acquired taste. So
yeah, I mean, it's on like the spectrum though. It's on one side completely where other beers.
1,000,000%.
So,
but I will also tell you that I'll drink both ends of the spectrum. Though, you know what I mean?
I think we all do.
Yeah, we actually I had a Modelo at the bar downstairs waiting for dude. We got a Sprinter van ride home. We got on the news, Zach and I. Oh yeah, you remember that?
Yeah.
We were at the booth. We were just at the booth, and then Kai's like talking, and it's just a still. So they probably just used it in like a promo, like it's so. But it's the three. It's like we are the predominant people in there. Like you can see my face, you can see his hat and his face. Kai's like,
isn't Johnny?
Johnny's the one. Yeah, we're all facing Johnny. Like Johnny's looking back at us, and we're looking at him. And it's a pretty cool shot. It was just, and then like his buddy hit him up and was like, "You're on the news." It turns out the guy is a Sprinter van driver. So Johnny called him down, and we got a ride home in this fucking badass Sprinter van, dude.
Booze.
And he gave us some revision beers.
Nice.
Yeah. I had a Michelob Ultra. Then he had.
He gave us some revision IPAs. That's what I'd pocketed that. I couldn't drink it at the time.
He had champagne.
Oh, that's true. We had some champagne. That's right. Jesus, dude.
That sounds like quite the festival.
It was, dude. It was fun. And then, like I said, I had to rally for yesterday, dude. That's why, like, I just slept after I got home. There was nothing else I could have done. That's why, like I was saying, I was foggy when I read the Do we want to jump into sports? Are we ready for sports? Because this is a hell of a segue right here.
It's the craziest trade of all time.
Of all time, you think?
There has never been a superstar for a superstar in their prime traded.
In the NBA?
In any sport.
Oh, in any sport it has to happen.
Think about it. There's never been a superstar for a superstar. There's been superstar for draft picks. There's been superstars for other players. There's never been superstar for superstar. Of all the biggest trades of all time.
There's got to be.
Wayne Gretzky didn't get traded for...
Can't pull one, but
Babe
there's
Ruth
got to
went
be.
to the Red Sox for nobody. Or from the Red Sox to the Yankees for nobody. Wayne Gretzky went to the Kings for nobody. It wasn't like he was traded for like Ovechkin. Like,
I want to say that there's got to be something in the NFL player for player wise. There has to be.
Player for picks, dude. It's always player for picks.
But I'm saying maybe back in the day that I can't reference right now. Maybe somewhere in like the 80s or 90s or something like that.
So the trade we're talking about, AD from the Lakers gets traded to the Mavericks for Luka Doncic. Obviously, there's other stuff in the trade.
Well, there has to be because that's not a straight up value. Like
so
there has to be
the
salary
trade.
balances.
Yeah. So the Lakers received Doncic, Maxi Kleber, and Markieff Morris from the Mavericks, who announced the trade. They acquired Davis, Anthony Davis, Max Christie, and Lakers 2029 first round pick. And then the Jazz got Jalen Hood and the Clippers second round pick and a Maverick second round pick too.
So this took 4 parties to complete?
No, those are I think three.
Yeah.
I think the Jazz or the Clippers pick was owned by the Mavericks.
Gotcha.
Already.
Okay, yeah, that makes more sense.
But yeah, so I mean, I thought it was fake. I literally did. I had no.
Me too.
I was driving to Kiel.
Nice.
Which they had a band that was pretty cool.
Hell
Drank some
yeah.
Guinness, obviously. No whiskey because I drove.
None of that brown water.
But dude, I like sat there and I was like, no way. And Angelique was like, you can look at that when we get there. You got to drive.
You're gonna swerve.
And so I started driving. So as soon as I got there, dude, I pulled that fucker up and was just like, no fucking way. I mean, in my fandom opinion, it's a home run. It's got to be a home run. The kid's 26. He's going to be 26.
He's got like 9 years of professional basketball under his belt too, because he was playing pro ball out in Europe at like 15 or
right
some
now.
shit.
I think he's got a strained calf, but dude, he's like when he's healthy, he is one of the most prolific scorers in the NBA, if not the. If you thought of anybody else that needed to get a bucket,
he's another motherfucker. He just does not pass the eye test. He plays at this weird speed, and
It's
you're
that
like,
Euro-
it should not work.
It's that
and
European
It changes to his speed.
It kind of does, dude.
But
If
like,
you can
it's
control
think about
the
it.
speed of the
Who
game.
else? If you needed a bucket in the NBA, there's only another handful of dudes.
Dude,
other
and he
than
can put
him
up
that you would
50
pick.
nightly kind of thing. He has that breakout ability. He's done it several times. So, yeah, no, I understand the trade from the Lakers' perspective big time in the sense of the whole...
You got the bigger superstar.
Well, and the whole, crying from the sea. You needed a succession plan to LeBron James bad, right? Like,
Yep.
He's given this year, maybe next year kind of thing. You need somebody who can come in and be the face of the franchise. You don't want to go back into the dark ages. Worst comes to worst, even if you bring in Luka and the roster kind of flusters for a couple of years, that's okay. It's LA. Like, he will still sell jerseys. He will still put butts in seats. Like, while you build this roster, you can
Well,
fucking,
I hope you hold on to Dalton Connect. I mean, you got Dorius
why
Finney-Smith.
wouldn't you? You just drafted him. Yeah.
Well, I hope
These
you
are
don't
the young
trade him.
pieces that you should be
You got
building
Dorius
around now.
Finney-Smith. You got.
Oh, you're getting younger. Yeah. I feel like that's a great move because
Yeah.
he's getting some decent minutes right now, isn't he? Like
Connect, he's coming off
15,
the bench.
20?
Yeah, then you still have Reeves.
That ain't bad for a
and
rook.
You still have Reeves and LeBron. So the question is, what's down low? I got to pull up the roster, but I know you got
That's
Finney-Smith,
true.
and you got the kid
right.
from. Remember the other trade you made with the Mavericks? I liked it a lot. And he's a big guy. I got to look up his name real quick. I can't.
Well, good
because
because you need some size moving off.
This
AD.
trade tells me that they're not playing for LeBron to get a championship because this is not a. I mean, Luka is great right now, but it feels like they're pushing towards a younger team.
I love that. Good. Not that, but they're also, bro, once again, I get the take, but that is kind of a now as well. Like, if LeBron and Luka can play off of each other, you don't think that they can
expect that to come together this season?
Jackson-
Yeah, I think you can.
I think
between
said-
the guys, they have so much basketball time on the court. Like, they'll figure each other's game out. Like, you don't think that It could not work. It could absolutely not work. Sometimes names don't come together, but I think that there's a high opportunity that this year it's like what Kyrie and him did last year, right?
Well, the second article underneath the article on ESPN right now is that the Lakers championship odds went up significantly.
Yeah. Well,
so
Luka's going to do that. That being that
Right,
name that he is.
exactly.
Jackson Hayes would be your center. Then you
Okay.
play Vanderbilt or Dorian Finney-Smith at your
four.
Then you got
LeBron at your three.
at your 3. Then you go Dalton Connect at your 2, Austin Reeves. Or then you also have Rui too. Now does he come off the bench now?
Hachimura.
Yes, he's been
It's like
starting a
one
lot.
of my favorite names.
He's been starting a lot too. So I mean, so it's not bad. A little rotation. I still think you're still, but he gives you that other. I mean, AD's been balling this year though.
Sure, which is why you moved him at his highest value that he's had in a while. I think the Lakers are finally starting to look at the big picture.
Actually,
they're getting
hold on.
out of that LeBron tunnel that they were stuck in for a while, and they're really trying to, make some serious future moves.
Well, the roster will be Austin Reeves at your point, and then you'll probably play Luka at the 2. And then you can go between Rui and LeBron at your 3 or 4, and then roll in Vanderbilt and Dorian Finney-Smith.
You got a 7-8 man, roto right there at least.
Vanderbilt coming back healthy and playing good is another reason I think we were able to move on from AD.
Sure.
Man, and I mean, you would think they would be in the postseason. I really do expect Luka's and LeBron's kind of personalities to mesh. I think they could get along fine and play well together.
I agree.
But then you have the reasons that the Mavs moved off of him, and those.
You're not really sure what that is yet, huh?
Well, what was put in the article,
Reported,
at least, what was reported was they were concerned about Luka's defense, and I would also. This is an assumption made by me. The way he takes care of his body, because
he's a doughboy.
Yeah, it's an obvious issue.
He's a doughboy. I mean,
Maybe him getting with LeBron might change that.
That's true. LeBron has an absolutely legendary body, healing routine, as it were.
I
The
mean,
dude's
if he could
40
get him on
and-
some kind of
and
regiment, that would be wonderful.
So
he's playing. We cannot. We're not even going to debate LeBron on the shit list anymore, are we? Okay.
no, I don't
all right.
think
before the deal broke, the Lakers were plus 4,000 to win the championship.
Okay.
After the deal broke, they're plus 2,500.
I'm sorry.
So it jumped that far.
That's 1,500 points in one trade. That's a hell of that does not happen.
Whew.
But is that maybe that's putting a little too much into Doncic right out of the gates kind of thing?
I think it's kind of playing on the public.
Especially if he's right. It is. The swing, the public's going to ooh and awe at it. I just did. You know what I mean?
Because, you now have, I'm excited.
But if he's healing up, then,
it's a beast
when are
movement.
you going to get him on the court?
I got to look at that.
Yeah,
it's just a calf strain. It's over.
But that, ask McCaffrey about a calf strain.
he got Achilles
Sorry.
tendonitis.
Yeah, a little different.
Yeah, I know, but I'm just saying at first it was just a calf strain.
cheap shot, bro. Cheap shot,
It was a
bro.
little low.
Yeah,
Because I love CMC. I can't shit on him.
Anything else you guys want to add to that before we move on?
No, I think it's good for the NBA, honestly. It is a hell of a trade, superstar for superstar. A little couple of other things around it. But
If you can think of another superstar to superstar
let us
trade,
know. Comment,
I think it's the craziest trade of all
There's
time.
got to be
between
something
superstar
else that
and
is
superstar.
escaping us at this point. But, there has to be something. We've oohed and awed at trades before, right? There has to be something
for
somewhere.
picks. For
No,
football, it's
I
always
understand.
picks.
Ricky Williams, trade your draft.
Yeah,
Oh, my
it's
Lord.
always
Yeah,
picks. It's
no,
never.
that's-
It's
no.
never a player. Herschel Walker got traded for picks.
No, I get it. I understand your references. I'm not saying that I don't, but there's got to be. If there's not one that comes to mind, then it's obviously not too easy to figure out. But if you guys know one, let us know.
So let's move on to what we got next. So behind me and Trevor, and between me and Trev, is the shit list board. So
We've been talking about this forever.
yes. So we're going to do it. We want to go over the rules of how you can vote on the shit list, and then we'll talk about who we're voting on.
Okay, excellent.
So one of my rules is all three have to vote yes.
Correct.
Everybody like that?
Yeah,
Sure.
I agree with that simply because I don't want to have a shit lister up there that it's not my shit lister. I don't want to get overruled. It's not a 2/3 majority vote. It's got to be, full pod.
Okay, my next one I wrote down has to be big time, can't be second rate. For example, Staley would have been on there for the Chargers coach a couple years ago, but now that he's second rate, he gets wiped off. He's not
Oh, I understand. Sure. I mean, unless it's like here's where I would make the case for the second rate is if it's a personal shit lister to the pod, right? Like if they affect like our sports teams or something, I feel like that could be negotiable depending on who it is, right? But once again, it's got to be all three. So I do like what you did bring up into this is that it's not just players. We can throw in organizational pieces as well, whether it be a GM or an owner
team?
or just an overall team. You want? Oh, I think that
I have
might
a team.
You have a
whole shit list team.
A whole shitless team.
damn.
I wrote down Alex Bregman, Jose Altuve / the Astros of 2017. Those cheating fucks.
Okay, but see, to be an active shit lister, this is where we have to define it, right?
I
Are we
think-
actively?
I think-
that'll never get wiped away.
I
That
think
that
Astros
alone is a perma.
Astros 2017. If you played on that team,
So
were
you're
perma shit list.
retroing the shit list to everybody from fucking
on that 2017 team.
8 years ago.
I mean, I like having the ability to put things like that on the list, but I worry our list is just going to be so full.
Well, yeah, because we're haters.
full of shit.
I'm a hater. I could bring a lot to the table.
So
but,
that's one of the roads I wrote down.
Kirks.
If we're gonna highlight just is that just the asterisk one because that cheating is just so egregious it can never be forgiven? I can understand that concept.
It
right?
can never be forgiven.
I don't think so. That is
They were wearing stuff,
well beyond like
beating on trash cans for fastballs and shit. Do they? That's
they had
like,
a system of cheating
That's
that
ultimate
they bought into.
Yeah.
Ooh. Okay. Well, what do you vote? Yay or nay on that?
Me?
Yeah, because it's got to be all three of us. I vote nay. I'm sorry, Zach.
No,
Well, then if you're going to vote nay, yeah, you don't
I
need
vote-
to
I
vote.
guess
I
that's
would
true.
have to think about that.
I
Just-
vote nay. I'm sorry.
Again, it just comes with, I would put them up there, but how long are we going to leave them there?
Always, right? That'd
Just
be a
forever?
perma. You'd
Yeah,
have to
you're a
make
perma
that.
shit
That
list.
would, that would be an unbreakable shit list. Which I guess in that sense would make it a different tier, right? It would just be like up there in the upper right hand corner, never goes
Astros.
anywhere. Yeah.
2017
cheating Astros.
I mean, I'm not against that.
Because fuck that. If it's I'm not against that either. But then I don't want to necessarily press just like current shit list to all the Astros that had nothing to do with it.
Anybody who's got next name? I got lots of names written down.
For actual shit lister, dude. Well, okay, so see, it has to be active because the ones that I would define immediately, you guys wouldn't vote. Like, I would love to put David Stern on my shit list. Like, sports wise, I fucking hate that guy. He's dead though, so I feel like that's a bad shit lister.
Yeah. I have a question that relates
Ask
to
away.
what we were
Define
talking
some
about.
rules. Absolutely.
Yes, defining rules. Like Devontae Campbell. that guy
right?
quit on my team.
Sure.
Technically,
He's not active.
Not active,
Right.
But he could be picked up by his team. Like,
I think that's one that we have to, because I have another name that kind of falls on that same
I'm completely
level.
okay with that shit list. I
Okay.
feel like
I don't know if he's
since
big
it
time
was
enough.
since it was this year though, but that it's a personal effect to him, right? He can
Right.
throw that name in the hat like that.
I mean,
had to have absolutely
anyone-
disgusted him.
anyone that's going to quit on their team should
Agreed.
be on a shit list.
I mean,
man.
Deontay Johnson did the same thing to the Ravens when he was
but he's not
poo-pooing
even
over there.
Brown.
He's,
He's not even
second.
close.
He's second
He's
rate.
second
He's
rate,
second
dude.
rate.
That
We ain't
dude's
even
so-
put no respect on his
That
name.
dude's so second
But
rate.
Okay.
like Antonio
So
Brown when he pulled
Okay,
that
pull his
shit.
name up for me and I'll
Okay.
write it up.
Gotcha.
Next name I got, which is, I'll go through the names I kind of have off to the side.
Okay.
I have Dylan Brooks, Deshaun Watson,
I think Dylan Brooks is too second
and
rate
John
at this point.
Fisher. John Fisher, owner of the A's. So those
Deshaun
are-
Watson.
Fisher is on that list.
Yeah, I
Hands
can
down.
easily vote for your owner for sure. Yeah, I'm not. Yeah, no, that's a personal one that absolutely like. I don't have any skin in the game, but fuck that for sure. He did
Deshaun
Oakland
Watson.
dirty. I mean, hard to not put him on the shit list. At this point, I almost put him second rate though too, because
That's
he's
what I-
going to
that's what I was
sit for
wondering.
all.
He's gonna sit
He's
for
going to
all.
sit for all next year. He was suck ass this year. Like,
So I think we should develop like they have like for terms like of how long we could keep.
absolutely. Well, that's
I think those
active.
players should be on the shit list.
Okay, well, right, but that's
I think the
back end
I
shit
think
list.
I think it's back end too, because I think that Dylan isn't big time enough, and I also think that Deshaun Watson, he's not even going to play all next year. He's
Like-
kind of perma shit list until he's out of league because we
Like,
got the
here's a
Tucker
guy-
stuff going on
Here's
too.
a guy, James Harden, which like he's the originator of the shit list,
I'm
right?
writing him up.
We're still on him.
Yeah.
I almost just don't even pay attention to him anymore. But if
I also have Joel Embiid, Aaron Rodgers, Tyreek Hill,
calm down, all right, we got
Jimmy Butler, Manny Machado, Fernando Tatis, and Nick Sirianni.
Man,
He's just
they got the wheelbarrow and it's coming down.
What's going to stick? Yeah, dude. Oh my lord.
All right, James Harden going up.
James Harden he's the reason why we started the shit list. If you think about it, he was we were like, he's a shit lister, and then it evolved from there.
Yeah, I still see him as a black eye on this sport. As far as
Campbell.
How that changed the way that the 3-point shot.
So with Devontae, if he doesn't get picked up by
that.
anybody, does he come off the board next year?
Deontay Johnson or Devondre Campbell?
Devontae Campbell.
Devondre.
Campbell.
Yeah. He's got to, because he would no longer be active, but he can currently be a shit lister. But he's got some time. If it comes around to where he's not even on a practice squad,
then we got to drop him.
Yeah.
You're not important enough to even.
Right, that's clearly second rate. Fuck, man. All my shit listers, I'm such a hater, would be from the past. Current shit listers, man. I don't really have a Juan Soto, maybe.
I don't really have. I can't vote on him.
No, I know. I'm just saying. You guys, we want some shit listers that you guys can't stand too. Let us know some of those. You know? Where's your personal hate come down? Because you bitch about it. Oh, he's close.
Tyreek Hill and Jimmy Butler.
Jimmy Butler, absolutely. I cannot stand what Jimmy Butler is doing right now. 1,000% vote for a shit like current shit list Jimmy Butler. I do not like where he's at.
I think he's just jumped on the shit list.
I mean, I can't.
He is
condone. I can't condone what this guy's trying to do.
I mean,
you can say no. You can be wrong.
For him, maybe I'm wrong. I just, it feels like this is just antics of a lot of today's athletes. And are we going to put all those guys on the list? Because, I mean, some of this, like, I don't like who that they are as people, but
sure.
Are they really bad for the sport?
I think he's
currently, that's why he's a current shit lister. He hasn't been for a long time. I would just say within the last little bit. But I really don't like
what he's doing. Not being on the plane.
Agree. Just everything. It's not even like there has to be some level of professionalism to what the fuck you're doing right here. You're guaranteed millions of dollars to play this game. You're healthy. Play the game. Like,
yeah. Well,
you know what I mean? I'm okay, because this doesn't have anything to do with you want to use a platform to talk how you want to talk. That's fine. I don't give a shit. I'm not saying you're just a basketball player, dribble the ball. You're a human, and I get that. But you got it good in Miami, dude. I don't know why you're fucking pissing and moaning, to be honest. Like,
yeah, and I mean, really, everyone that's going to be on the shit list has got to have some sort of attitude problem. It feels like
right. I mean, that's kind of like one of the baseline, initiating factors to reason, why we don't like you, because aggression and giving a shit and being, a killer is what we're all about. Like, and Jimmy can be that sometimes, but like this diva attitude that he's got going on absolutely elevates him to the shit list for me. At least active. It could very well change pretty quickly.
I'm a vote on a yay for Jimmy on the shit list.
But Trevor's is no, so then we'll ice that one for now.
I want to go back to Aaron Rodgers. I want to vote yes, and I want that fucker on there. I think the way he's done over the last couple 3 seasons
and just even the end of Green Bay
was just different.
He's
and
mucky.
then the way he talks out about stuff, not like his views, but like the way he talks about like the players and other people, like when he's on.
I don't like anybody who gets alienated by their own family. I feel like that if he's that guy. He's the guy that doesn't talk to his fucking family. His own family doesn't like him, bro. Like that sends insane, notions to me there. Maybe his family sucks. I don't know, but it seems more like he sucks, right? He seems like he would be the black sheep. I'm not again. He's a low yes, but he's still a yes for me. You can count me down for yes on Aaron Rodgers. I would not be mad if you put him up there.
T-Mun?
Yeah, we could put him up there. I wasn't on that. I didn't have him on the list at first.
So I'm saying it's a low yes, but
even because we knew about that family stuff early on, but it just seems like more and more stuff just keeps happening with him, and it's just like dumb stuff like that he could easily not.
And most of it's because he just talks.
He just smells his own farts, dude. He just believes his own BS is what it is, dude. And. Sometimes that's a tough sell. Hold on, before you stand up, I got one more I want to bring to the table because he was for a while, and I don't know if he is now because he's kind of taken himself out of the spotlight. Ja Morant was a big shit lister for us last season when we were in the NBA. Where do you feel about him now?
I feel that he's fallen off the shit list for me just because he's kind of taking care of his stuff. and he's been a nice citizen.
You know who I'd love to put on the shit list that we just can't is fucking Patrick Mahomes.
Yeah, just because he's the greatest.
It's just like, golly, man, I'd love to just put him on the shit list. Fuck the Chiefs, like fuck the success these guys are having, but like, he's just so good for the game. Like, except for all the fucking golden rules that you can't touch him anymore.
Well, we'll get into that later. I got some big time beef.
Yeah.
We're not very
come back
happy.
to that.
Not
All right,
very
so the
happy.
next one up on the board is going to be Aaron. Okay.
Anybody else before I jump up? I'm kind of tired of Tyreek over the last couple years. I
really
think
don't
he's a
like,
stud, but
I really don't like what he did at the end of the year with Miami, saying I got to do what's best for my family and everything, like painting it that way.
Yeah.
It's the first year you've never been in the playoffs. Guys do this all the fucking time. It was a tough season. Get right, come back next year and play well.
So he's like, I don't know if he quite is on the shit list, but
right.
he's like building.
He's bubbling under.
He's building that
Especially
bridge.
because he was a piece of shit like earlier in his career, and he had some domestic stuff.
Well, that was in
went on.
college at Texas
but still,
Tech, yeah.
that's still. I mean, active. That's when
Because you know who I didn't write down was the closer. Remember the closer for the Yankees? He throws strong, but he's just kind of
he's not active
Aroldis
anymore.
Chapman. Well, he's kind of he's bounced around, but he's not a big guy. He's not a big stud anymore, so that's why I didn't write him down. All right, Aaron. I did write Manny Machado and Fernando Tatis of the Padres. I do not like the way they play baseball.
You can't get those votes out of me. I like Tatis. I don't like Machado, but he's not a shit lister. Hasn't done enough for me to view him that way.
So I mean, Embiid's kind of shit has grown.
I know. I'm a high no. I'm a high no on that one. It's very close to crossing over to a low yes.
I feel like I'm in a similar place with Jimmy. They're like they've done good stuff,
right?
So it kind of like
there's
had
the
a little
null and void.
bad.
Okay, so don't go by recency bias. I can appreciate that.
Yeah, give them a little more time. Are they going to continue to be shitty? They'll go on the list.
All right,
Embiid and Jimmy have crossed that line where Tyreek hasn't crossed that line yet. He's like nudging
all right there.
He's nudging his
I don't know how you could not have Tyreek in that same group though with his history.
Sure, I'd actually have Tyreek.
He has more history than the other two.
For sure.
I'd rather have Tyreek.
Documented.
Joel
bullshit.
Embiid, I think, is just
he's
started
just
to cross
soft
the line.
for a big man. He's so emotionally soft.
He's
and playing in a fucking city like Philly, you cannot be that way.
He like plays that line with
when you're doing good, they're gonna love you and they'll build a statue for you. If you're gonna eat a bag of wee-wees, man, they're gonna fucking run you out of town real quick.
I just thought of a name. I don't know if it fits on because of relevancy, but Urban Meyer. He'd be on my shit list.
He's on a shit list. I just don't know. Is he not big time enough?
I mean,
he's still
an
got
announcer.
a position as an announcer,
right?
but he's not
but
a
even
coach.
that is like
because he was douchebaggy as a coach when all the
if
stuff
we're
comes
gonna get
out.
into shit lister announcers, though, there's a grip of them that I don't like, bro. But I don't want to nominate like sports writers or anything like that. I feel like all that's kind of second rate. All right, who you got?
I don't got one right now, but
okay.
I will.
Why, dude? If Chris Broussard, if I never heard that guy's fucking voice again, like I cannot stand that dude.
I don't like the one dude that used to be with him.
Oh, what's his fucking nuts? I know who you're talking about. Rod or Ron?
Yeah.
Ron Walker? What?
Yeah.
I know.
Rod
Parker.
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 Okay.
Yeah, he was not good. And the two of them together was like next. I'd rather listen to fucking absolute silence than that. But I mean, I don't want to necessarily nominate them for the shit list because then Skip Bayless would be an easy shit lister, right? Like fuck that guy. Like that guy has had horrible takes for 30 years, and they still give that guy a microphone. Like.
Anybody else you guys can think of? I couldn't really think of as many baseball players. I was trying to find some baseball.
No, we're in a really nice golden era of baseball where there's not a lot of active shit listers, right?
Yeah,
That's
it's
the best
just
part.
Altuve and Bregman.
We can't do retros. If we're not doing retros, there's a bunch of retros that you can get into for sure. We would have to have the whole panel would have to be a wall that we could write up people.
Here's our baseball panel.
Yeah, exactly. Our football panel, our basketball panel. Hockey would be very small. I don't think anybody's got a lot of hate there.
Small.
Right? But no, dude. All right, I feel like that's a solid 4 to start with the current shit list.
I think Tyreek Hill should make.
Are we
board.
back to debating Tyreek?
I think he should make his way on the board. I also wrote down Nick Sirianni, but that's just I dislike.
That's
that.
a personal.
More. I agree with you. I don't like him, but I can't put him on the shit.
He's
list.
in the Super Bowl in a week.
Super Bowl, man. Yeah.
He's in the. Come on, that's his second Super
Gotta
Bowl
give him
appearance in
some
4
credit for
years.
that.
Like
He's gonna lose another offensive coordinator.
Sure, whatever. If he gets a chip this year, it'll all be worth it, dude.
I hope he loses another Super Bowl. We'll get to that later.
Ba-na-na.
All right, so we're gonna finish
Excellent.
these heavy ass beers.
We
and then
sure
come
are.
back with what happened last weekend.
Excellent.
That might
And
get
the preview of the big game.
That might get a little crazy.
The big game. Well, one of them was a fucking blowout, and the other one,
I'm fucking heated. I got lots of bitching and moaning to do.
Stay tuned for the wheelbarrow.
Welcome back, boys. Cheers.
Welcome back, gents.
This looks yummy.
This is tasty.
Oh, that's a little different, isn't it? Nice and citrusy.
Yeah, that's very good.
Quite refreshing after the first one.
Rad little thing. As we've given out shouts to all of the little things, this is another one in the line. It's a East Coast West Coast blend. It's a hazy, it's a hazy West Coast IPA, because you do still get very much hops, but that citrus is there for sure. Nice body to it, and much easier to drink than 14.5. This is 7 though. So
I have a question.
Ask away.
Is the shit list for beer too?
Ooh, I love that
just
take.
thought of it.
I think it should be. We're a beer pod. It's Balls and Brews. Absolutely. Do you have one you want to nominate?
I think we all.
I think we're nominating.
Well, we had what's it called?
Dust Bowl. We can put Dust Bowl on the shit list. 1000%.
That
Sorry.
mix pack was awful.
Yeah. No. We're adding to the shit list. Yeah. No. I love that. That is an evolution that I'm completely okay with. Dust Bowl. You deserve to be on there, and that might be a perma.
Well, it could come off.
If we can find one, all right.
They can put out a brew that changes our mind.
That's true.
It's just they haven't.
Oh my lord, good call, Zane. Good call. But these Sierra Nevada, right? Chico, California. We've had several of these. This is basically like Reno water in the sense of you can find Sierra Nevada everywhere.
With a name like Sierra Nevada, you know the bars are gonna.
Yeah,
put it in.
Even though they're not in Nevada.
We have a whole bar downtown that's got
Sierra Tap House.
The Tap House is all in Sierra Nevada.
And they would do when they get their rotators and they do their specials and stuff. And
I love getting the rotators and the personal specialty beers from the breweries that you can't find anywhere else.
1000%.
That is just such a great thing.
It is. Well, yeah. That is the nicest thing about breweries.
Yeah,
absolutely. It is when they do the new ones. Sometimes they suck, but they're mostly good.
But it's always interesting to see what kind of routes they're trying to take and what ideas they're coming up with.
Because you notice, generally breweries will more or less figure out one or two things that they're excellent at, and that's kind of what they're known for, right?
Sure. Flagship.
But some breweries just spectrum it. They do fucking everything, and everything they do pretty well, right?
Well, look at Little Thing. Like we talked about Voodoo. Little Thing is taking over the Sierra Nevada.
In the overall, from top to bottom, I would say so for me, for sure, because I drink way more Little Thing series than any other Sierra Nevada anything.
100%.
Yeah, we just had the hazy was in the fridge.
Yeah,
it was in the fridge at the house for the party.
Yeah, no, we had
Have we had that on pod?
Oh, yeah. Oh, we've had to have had Hazy Little Thing on pod. In the long ago. But had to have.
I was just wondering, sometimes we miss some, because we've had them so much in general.
Sure. And we don't necessarily want to bring those on the pod per se.
Right, but we brought Newcastle. We've gotten a couple of the other ones on.
There is that, yeah. We do need to get Alaskan. Have we had an Alaskan Amber?
I think we did.
I think we have.
I thought we did a whole Alaskan. We might just have to revisit the Alaskan line.
That's a good.
It's been a while.
They weren't there.
They weren't. They haven't been at one in a while.
I know.
Are they still a thing? Are they still a thing?
I'd have to look that up.
Because that's Juneau, Alaska, man. That's a tough place to fucking cut your teeth.
Their beer is that Pinocchio's on tap.
Is it?
Alaskan Amber's on tap.
I love that. I had one. Yeah, I had one on tap the other day too. I think it was at the library. Which is funny. It's a bar called the library. It's not the actual library.
We ain't drinking at the library. That's what we're getting a read on.
We're trying to, and be quiet, all right? Be respectful. Don't be a shit lister at the library.
Get my read on. All right. So last week we touched on.
Dude, we're getting hot. This is good. This is where
we touched
it needs
on some
to go.
coaches, but we didn't really grade them. And then this week I've hired a DC. Trev hired his DC, but did we know that he was hired last week?
Solo, we did.
He wasn't. The news was pretty much out that he was the guy, unless he was to take the second interview with the Jags, which didn't work out because the big money they offered Cohen. He also brings a special teams coordinator over from the Jets, which is probably the best special teams coordinator the Niners have had since the Shanahan regime. Possibly, it's been really bad. So I am very excited about my coaches that have been brought into the staff.
Charlie, you hired an OC before
We
you
sure did, yes. So, as it were, I didn't necessarily think Grubb deserved to be fired. I think he was a little off balanced, but I think we could have had another season with him where we could have seen some growth.
Maybe end of the year meetings, you're like, hey man, we got to develop a run game. That's what my priorities going to be.
Well, yeah, but so that's exactly what he brought in with Clint Kubiak and the Kubiak system, which is very much off the Shanahan system, zone runs, zone gap schemes, off the naked boots.
And Kubiak's offensive coach family.
Yeah.
Through and through.
Makes 1,000% sense. They run the ball in a scheme that already fits what McDonald wants to do. We're trying to basically build a Pete Carroll-esque Seattle football team still. The mindset really hasn't changed. Strong defense, run the ball, play action. That's what Seattle wants to do.
I think it's a good hire. I wish we would have hired Clint Kubiak. I like what he did in New Orleans, and then
to be fair, kind of a lack of talent. Like outside of Kamara, and he was getting a little older.
Well, then your offensive line.
Olave's a beast.
Your offensive line's beat up. Olave's hurt all the time.
He has been recently. That's true.
Carr gets hurt because he gets hit all the time. You don't really have another receiver. You don't really have a tight end. You're not really in a great position as the Saints. And I mean, right now they're the only team that has
without a coach. Right? They're wading in the water.
Kellen Moore looks like he's going down there, man. I think when I wrote down my numbers of what I thought the jobs were, Jets and Saints are right there on the bottom of that list. Saints roster, and they're way fucking past your fucking cap, too.
I think Kellen Moore is going to not be a great fit if that's the case because, okay, let's be real about where he has had success. It's been with superstars around it. This year he got to go to Philly and say, turn the ball and hand the ball to Saquon. Pretty easy game plan to follow.
Even before that with Dallas,
that's what I'm saying.
Still talent at
he had
skill
CD
positions.
He did suck in.
He still had Pollard who was balling.
He did suck in San Diego though.
Bad.
Or L.A.
Right,
Charger
land.
He did suck there. We thought that was going to be a great hire for Justin Herbert, and it wasn't good.
Fluttered bad.
Whether that was Brandon Staley,
probably a large
else.
chunk of it. He clearly was not the head coach. Anyway.
I think that Mike McCarthy was smart pulling his hat out of the
Saints.
I think the Saints and the Jets are two of the worst jobs.
There's no upside to that. As a young guy trying to get your foot in the door, sure. If that's the job that's there for you and that's the first head coaching position you've been offered, I can understand why you swing for that. A guy who has a Super Bowl championship is not going to go to a roster like that.
Because we just laid it out. Their defense is okay, but dude, you need a lot of pieces in a lot of spots.
They're aging. Important. They are so aging. And the young stuff that they do have is either hurt or schman.
Because Olave is hurt a lot.
In 3 years, he's been banged up pretty good.
And then you're not really throwing anybody else. They have the one kid that Carr ends up finding all the time, but then nobody else finds him when Carr's not there. The kid that's super fast. I can't think of his name off the top of my head.
I know who you're talking about.
Is it Smith?
He's
their
tight.
No.
He didn't really do much.
Rashid.
I think so.
What the hell is this?
He didn't. Daquan Smith really never did anything for them. He was like a draft a couple of years ago, right? He kind of fallen off.
Long story short, man, the Saints are not in a good roster spot right now.
No.
So I don't think bringing in an inexperienced head coach is what you need to do. I think it's going to shit on his ability to lead a team.
I think you needed to bring in more of a rah-rah guy than an offensive person.
And I'm a bit disappointed.
Rashid Sneed, is that it?
Yes.
The league for not they're not hurting the Chiefs. When a team is successful, like the Lions, like the Niners have been,
I don't think Spags wants to go.
Get poached.
But I know they're older. Reed knows what he's doing. He's got guys who want to be two men. Sometimes Scotty doesn't want to step out and be a one man. Scotty wants to stay a two man and win rings.
Somebody should have offered him a head coaching job.
Spags was up on my top 5 when I was getting.
Are you trying? Okay, we have to understand that he just has to be saying no. You're trying to tell me that the NFL, if they're going to give fucking Brian Flores another shot at being a head coach, which he didn't get hired this cycle.
It was reported that the Raiders wanted to interview Spags, but when you
Chiefs probably blocked it.
But when you have all the playoffs going on with
You
everything,
can't until
hard
he's
to-
window is
finished,
very
right.
small. So
your windows are very small to talk to guys, and so maybe he's not talking to people until the season's over, and then that's tough because then you're this far
teams might
out.
already be
I
wrapped
just
up.
if
Come
I
on, Saints.
if I'm Spags though, I'm just not going anywhere. I just
Why
don't-
would you? I mean,
I don't see the benefit
your,
to
your
it.
pay's going to go up by like $7 to $5 million
That's a
to
lot
$10
of money,
million.
dude.
It's anywhere from 5 to 10, I would bet.
Maybe, but the added stress, dude. For how long he's been in the league, that guy's
Dude, he's-
had enough money and enough success. Like I don't, he can strive for whatever he wants, right? Like if he does, cool, man. But I think he's got it fucking made.
And I wrote Nagy down as a coordinator that I wanted to bring in because
Did he get hired somewhere?
No, I just wanted to bring him in as a coordinator because I don't think he doesn't. Obviously, Andy calls the plays. So if you can entice him to bring him over, I think his offensive coordinator skills are fine. I think I think the Bears situation's.
well, he got stuck with Mitch Trubisky. That doesn't help a whole lot.
Yeah, but still.
In the draft, that he missed on Deshaun and on Mahomes,
And
dude.
so we hired our defense coordinator, Patrick Graham. Super excited about that. I think bringing him back is a great move. Still no OC, so I'm a little shaky on that just because you just had the Senior Bowl and everything. We need to start getting these scouts. You know, you got to start getting all your scouting in. You got to start pulling your draft board together. This is like a very important part of the season. Where are you grading all these free agents? Are you going to try to make a move for free agents? What free agents do you have higher on your board? I think all that stuff starts to come together, and I really wish we'd have our OC by now, whoever it is. Like if it is going to be Bevel, which I don't want it to be, I would rather you take a shot somewhere else. We are interviewing. I can't remember who we're interviewing soon.
I don't know, man. Daryl Bevel and Pete Carrol won a championship together. I know that was 10 years ago, but there's rapport there.
I know.
Like-
I just was looking a little more inventive.
Inventive? Yeah, I get you.
He is not necessarily.
He hasn't been. He was 10 years ago. But
Right.
yeah, no, now he's a little stale. I understand the thought process, but it wouldn't be the worst hire, is what I'm saying.
It's not Luke Getsy. It's not. Just as long as fucking Dorkface from the Bears doesn't come over again.
Maybe
too.
Slowick, another.
Eberflus got hired. Where did he get hired?
Shanahan,
He got DC hired somewhere.
Tree coach.
I wouldn't mind Slowick. I like Slowick. He was one of the names I wrote down too. I think he's an innovator.
I mean, he helped us.
Did he
draft
leave?
Purdy.
Did he leave the
He got
Texans?
fired.
He got fired by the Texans.
There was reports that him and CJ never.
Oh, that's
got
right.
along.
That's right. No, because I remember saying I would have taken him, but this was before our Kubiak hire. I would have taken Slowick too.
I want Slowick. I don't know if he's on the interview process. I don't really know.
If you really think about the overall scheme of the NFL, not that veterans and old heads don't have a motor, but it's a young man's game, and a young man can relate to a young man a little bit better. And if you can fucking get that juice out of your 2-3 year guys like that, those are the teams that are being propelled forward, right?
Yeah, and that's why I think God, I would love Slowick. I love Graham. I would love Slowick.
Well, it's still out there. It's still out there. It's still a possibility.
I'm just not doing any of the interviews, Chuck.
I know. Well, yeah, I'm aware of that. If you were doing drafting and interviews, your team would look vastly different.
Vastly different.
Even within the spots that you had, you didn't even need to trade or do any crazy things to build a roster that would have been
Vastly
rather
different.
successful. Yeah.
So give me your guys' grades, Chuck. Go through all the teams. Just go
Every single one of them?
Yep. Give me your.
Okay,
or
well,
you-
Schottenheimer at the fucking Cowboys is an F. That's a fucking
We
travesty.
all agree on that,
That's
right?
a fucking travesty, dude.
Okay.
Brian Schottenheimer did nothing good, even at an OC level, for many years in a row.
I think
It
we all
wasn't an
give.
upgrade.
I think
Fuck
we
no.
all. He's an F. Totally. They fucked up with
That's
Mike
just
McCarthy.
Jerry just wants to be the mouthpiece, and with a
Yep.
guy who won't say no to him, he can.
F. It's
F.
easy.
Sorry, F minus.
Next team, Charlie.
Next team is I'll give the Jaguars with Cohen, and I don't know how that could work out. That could absolutely work out. It's young coach. I know it's terrible. He's got no hype.
I know. I'm
Zero
going-
aura, as
Hey,
they call
but
it.
a lot of guys have failed the
Press conference.
Dude,
conference and
yeah,
been good
Campbell
coaches.
did
I'm
bite
going-
kneecaps. I mean,
I'm going
I
A.
like that press conference. I know a lot of
Go
people
for
were
it.
out on it. It was good.
I'm
for
going
it.
A minus B plus. I think they got.
Then you
the-
got to choose A minus or B plus.
A
Those are
minus.
two different
I'm
grades.
going A minus.
Okay, you're going in the 90 percentile. 90-91 is what you're looking at right there.
90.1.
I
90.
think
It's an A minus, Chuck. So.
I think I'm at that B plus level.
I think it's the right. I think it could be a great hire.
I could understand. I can understand high B. It's just this unprovenness. It could pop. It could absolutely pop.
That's why I was at 90.1.
And then if he gets T-Law,
back to where
they develop with Brian Thomas and ETN comes back healthy and Tank Bigsby is healthy. And
that's
there's
why
a core.
He was hired.
There's a
he
core.
Can straighten T-Law
and you got to build
Christian Kirk when he's on can play. Evan Ingram's got some hands. They just got to get a better offensive line. It's terrible.
You got to rebuild that whole offensive line.
Yeah, big time.
Other than maybe center.
But
I think we have a guard.
I think with potential it's a B plus, but I think it's a B. I think it's just a B right now. There's upside for sure, which is why I can't be any lower than a B. But I just don't. I'm too unproven to give it any.
The
higher.
reason I went A minus is because what he did with Baker on the offense.
He had like 42 tuds, didn't he, or some shit like that?
Bring that to Trevor. Can get Trevor back on track.
That's where so?
Well, that's why I give it a B plus is because of Trevor.
Yeah.
You're bringing this guy in for that reason.
Correct.
And if he can make a difference,
so we got a
then it's
B
a win.
plus A minus. There you go.
You could be up there talking like where you have a quarterback that could be in your top 10 if playing like he did 2-3 years ago.
He was supposed to come out and be the dude.
Well,
he was
Urban
Caleb
Meyer,
Williams at that time.
Urban Meyer fucked him up.
Oh, bad.
And then the next year he was really good, and then the next year, this last year was not good. So.
Oh, well, Peterson kind of fluttered off, which is why there's.
Well, and that's kind of look at like what's happened up in Philly too. He fluttered off too. Kind of had once he lost Frank Wright to the Colts, he kind of sucked after that, and then they.
Sirianni or Peterson. So yeah, no, that's true. Then he got ran out of town.
Yeah,
they
wasn't a good coach for Herbert either, man.
That's true too. That's true
see it all over the league.
It does happen that way. Next up is going to be the best one, which would be Chicago getting Ben Johnson right out of the gates. That's got to be. It's got to be. I mean, you can't give it an A plus because you really don't know. But if you get a guy who can develop Caleb Williams,
this is the A.
It has to be off of pure potential and what the paper says is possible. The ceiling here is insane.
2 years of the numbers that he got out of golf, and then coming from Detroit with all that kind of Detroit had so much energy as far as the coaching staff and the team, and if he could bring any of that and you get the guy that Caleb wants, it just seems like the perfect fit.
It should be.
Plus you're coming to a division where you already know your opponents.
Yes, with the division.
This is a really good hire on paper for the Bears. Unfortunately, that's a franchise that just seems to always everything. I mean, the drafting of Caleb Williams, I don't think was a fuck up, but like in faculty wise and GM and head coach, they're notoriously awful, man. They have been for a long fucking time. Like it's normally where quarterbacks go to die. They've never had a 4,000 yard passer. They've never had a 4,000 yard, not even 5, but 4.
Which is crazy because I would have thought Jay Cutler's
year
with Forte
and Brandon Marshall and he
Martellus Bennett.
He had some fucking weapons. Alshon Jeffrey.
Got it.
Yeah, that's before he went to the Eagles. Well, there you go. But that's an A, right? And then you got another one is going to be the Raiders with Pete Carroll.
I think it's an A.
Okay.
It's an A. I thought it was. I wanted Variable Johnson or Cohen. I would have had Spags before Pete. But I think Pete for the next 4 years is going to be great. But then that's what happens after that. Okay. That's my. I think it's a great hire for the next 3-4 years. Okay. But then after that, where do you go? You get another year after Pete.
He might be retired
because he's 72 now.
73.
Okay.
He'll be 74 in September.
Yeah, there you go.
So that's what I'm saying.
I mean, he's the most youthful 74-year-old you ever met in your life. But that guy's got a lot of life in him.
You get 4 years, but then who's next? So that's why you bring Sloak and be like, hey, can you sit for 4 years? You have somebody up and coming. You go out and try to find somebody else. You building like some kind of culture.
4 years is still a decent window, dude. If you're looking at that,
look at all the other windows that you see. 4 years is a window.
I mean, he definitely seems
that's
like
a lot
the setup
in some cases,
especially with you not having the quarterback.
It's free agent and a draft, Trev. One move.
But it's also really nice to have because he feels like that Parcells kind of coach that comes in and fixes what you need to get fixed.
Correct. He's in a fix, but also I think he could. He's also not gonna. He wouldn't have started Minshew. I guarantee he would have went with O'Connell.
You know what it is as well? It's instant respect. There's nobody in that locker room that's going to look at Pete Carroll and be like, I don't respect this guy. He's got chips in the NCAA. He's got chips in the NFL.
Max was there, and him and Max talked to you.
Marshawn was there.
And you get Max behind you.
Yeah.
And you get Max behind you in the locker room.
You're going to have the whole locker room. In that sense, you have to look at this. If you're a player, you're like, oh, thank God, we got a real fucking coach coming in here.
You got three to 4 defensive people you need to sign, and then you got to go
Pete
crazy.
has like a .637 overall winning percentage as a head coach. Like, he wins games, dude. He is a culture guy. Like, that is always compete. I love some Pete Carrol, dude. Like, I could never.
I think we all do.
Right? Yeah. But I'm just saying,
what's your grades?
I get why you give it an A. For me, it's still a B plus, just because of, like, I thought Petey he ran his course in Seattle. Maybe he brings some new life into the Raiders, and you guys are so far behind in culture, the jump shock that he gives you is exactly what you fucking need, which is very well possible. He finished his run in Seattle. I love you, Pete, and I'm glad that the bridges weren't burned entirely, because it was us saying no. He wanted to coach another year, he really did, but he had to take the year off, but we were gracious. He was gracious about it. We were gracious about it. I will never say anything negative about Pete Carrol and what he brought to the Seahawks. B plus for me.
I'm right around that B plus, maybe even A minus. I mean, maybe it's my love for Pete being a USC coach, but I mean, between the two, I just got to ask you, do you like that hire better or the Jaguars hire better?
I like the Pete Carrol hire better.
Ooh, that's a great question.
Just because
that's where I feel like they are.
I did B plus on both.
They're different, but they're for different reasons. They're
different.
I
think for now it's the Pete Carrol. I think for the ceiling / advantage of having Cohen, who could unlock Trevor Lawrence potentially, that could be an A plus.
Agreed.
Correct. They're the potential of the Cohen
but
and
you have
Trevor Lawrence
but
thing
I can't,
could be Patrick Mahomes,
but
Andy Reid.
I
Not
can't,
quite that high.
That's
not that
high.
high.
That's a lot. That's a lot to put out there.
But putting a stud quarterback with a stud coach for years could be.
I cannot say for right now that Pete Carrol hire, it does make sense. You need solidarity, uniformity. You need a program put into place, and that is what Pete Carrol will bring. He is full of it, dude. He loves football, and that's what that man is about, and that's what the culture he's going to try to bring back to Las Vegas, because that's a football team, dude. The Raiders are a proud fucking franchise, and they need somebody to lead that team in a proud fucking manner, and Pete's the guy to do that.
So yeah, again, for me it's close, but I think I do give a slight lean to the A minus side of that.
Next team, Charlie.
Okay. Well, you just mentioned Vrabel is the guy that you wanted, but obviously he goes back to the Pats because he was wide open.
It's an
right?
A.
This is another A.
What a foolish move by the Titans, dude. Callahan clearly didn't bring anything to that team. Now he was trying to do it with Levis as well.
But that relationship was broke.
You think with Vrabel and the GM or
once AJ got traded, that relationship was done.
Yeah, in the war room, I remember watching him shake his head, dude. You never see a head coach with his head down in the war room on draft night, and he was just like,
and that's where it
Treylon Burks for AJ Brown. I can't blame Vrabel. Ain't about that life. I mean, ball is ball, baby. Game respects game, and Vrabel saw that dog in Brown. Even though he can be a little diva-ish, that man is a fucking monster when he's clicking at his high percentages. So, yeah, A there, just because the culture, the connection, the ability to come in and command a locker room. Once again, you have to bring in somebody that your men are going to respect and follow from day one. You cannot have them come in and be like, who the fuck is this, right? Like, why am I...
Schottenheimer.
Like, yeah, the whole... No, the locker room knows what that is.
The locker room was behind him.
Because they know exactly what that is.
Jerry's behind him.
Exactly, because they know exactly what that is. And you shut up and take this paycheck. You have a star on the side of your helmet. You're going to make fucking money.
The last team, Charlie?
Well, it was the Saints that don't have a hire. And then the Jets with Aaron Glenn. Correct, you're right. I'm sorry, that one did phase the mind. But yeah,
I give it a C.
Ooh, that's a tough take. Give me some explanation, please.
I think that it's just ownership and everything else is just not good. I think you went another defensive coordinator, defensive minded.
That is
position.
Another franchise that cannot get out of their own way.
I think you needed like either a hype guy or an offensive guy. I think Aaron. The defense is going to play good, but you're still in the same boat you've been in for like how many every years. Like your offense is still going to probably not be good. I think you're in a bad spot. Where you at with Aaron Rodgers? Where you at anywhere on that offense? It's you have a running backs that we thought were good that didn't really play good last year. The offensive line's never been really good. You got one receiver that's legit. All the rest of the receivers probably should be in old folks' homes.
Dude, Aaron Rodgers came in, tried to turn it into Green Bay 2.0, and it didn't even fucking work. Came nowhere effective. Devontae, what is he going to give you next year? Is he even under contract?
I have no idea.
Jesus Christ, dude. The Jets are a dumpster fire in that sense. As far as the hiring of Aaron Glenn, though, I like it. I think the culture change does make sense. And the fact that they do want to be a defensive team, okay? Like, they do. They're the New York Jets. Their best pieces outside of Garrett Wilson and Breece Hall are on the defense, for sure. Sauce Gardner, Quinnen Williams. You have some monsters, dude, up front. Like, that team needs to be coached defensively. I get that, but who is he bringing in as his OC? That's a huge
hired
question.
Somebody I don't remember.
Oh, he did. Okay, well then he's a nobody. So
I want to think it was someone actually from the Lions.
Yeah, it wouldn't surprise me. Wouldn't surprise me. Familiarity as a head coach is big, especially in your first year.
Antoine Randall?
No, the wide receivers coach.
No, he might have left to go be the receivers coach, but he didn't go to the OC.
Maybe he took I can't remember, but as far as the Jets go, like
it's a C plus for me, bordering on a B minus, just because
I guess I'm on the C plus, but I'm not bordering on the B minus.
He wasn't even really in the talks until like later, and then all of a sudden it was like, because Detroit went deep and they won the first seed and the defense was so banged up and they still look good.
If I was Aaron Glenn, I would have rather coached the Saints over the Jets. Even in the Saints roster,
that's another organization that is notoriously not that great. I mean, there's the Drew Brees era, but that's it. That's the only thing the Saints have ever had.
I think I lean slightly more B minus with this pick though, because
I just like the familiarity and the dog in Aaron Glenn, dude.
Yeah, as far as the hire goes, I don't know if there was really a better coach this carousel for the Jets.
I like that take a lot. I agree with that money for sure.
That's why I think they did as well as they can. The situation is not great.
The Jets are so it's weird. Like, you took them to win the AFC East just this year, right? So, I mean, it's not to say that they weren't supposed to have some hype and some talent.
I mean,
right?
I wasn't the only one, but yeah, we were all
you were on this panel. We both took Buffalo.
Yes. And I definitely regret that. I should have more faith in Josh.
I just wasn't going to let... Yeah,
I just thought the team
they've ran the AFC East since Brady's been out.
Well, let's jump into what happened last weekend. Let's start with the first game first.
Sure, the NFC East. Now, the final score was an absolute fucking drubbing, right?
It went the way we thought it was going to go.
No,
once Payne was out, the Eagles were just going to run the ball.
We bet the Eagles. We bet the Eagles, so we hit that one. But
we knew that once Payne went down, dude, we knew they were going to run the ball. And then
we knew they were going to run the ball anyway.
And then Washington couldn't stop a fucking cold on the offensive line, losing their best offensive lineman the week before. Jaden was running for his life almost on every fucking play.
Yeah, dude, they had a lot of pressure.
Dude, Nolan Smith was all up in his face, dude.
Yeah.
They had Jalen Carter is going to end up being one of the best defensive tackles to play the fucking game.
If he stays healthy, that trajectory is nasty, dude. He is a game wrecker.
Last year,
his swim move for how big he is fucking impressive.
Last year he fell off kind of towards the end. Maybe that's that rookie year, but then this year, dude, he's been fucking on fire. And in the playoffs, he is their best defensive player right now in the playoffs. He is fucking dominating. Between him and Nolan Smith and Jordan Davis has come on this year. N'Kobe Dean got hurt, but he was coming on. Dude, they just keep drafting excellent.
And that could be part of his success too. Is the team seems to keep getting better on defense, because that was their weak spot, and they just made a lot of improvements. Those guys are growing. They're young. They're good together.
How bad did the Miami Dolphin players look after Vic Fangio comes in, and this defense is like the number one defense in the league? And last year, the Dolphins players, all they could do was complain about Vic Fangio.
It's a Miami thing.
It's a diva city, dude. You go down there to be in the sunshine, not to play football. Not that the Miami Dolphins don't. They obviously have a perfect season. Like, Shula is one of the greatest coaches of all time, but that's 50 years ago. Like, their current culture is not like McDonald. I don't think McDaniels is I don't think he's a bad coach, but it's very, very different. It's very much a flashy, dashy, look at us kind of team right now. And
he's a September.
That doesn't win in January and February. Clearly,
September, October team.
They're not gritty, baby. That's what you need. You need that dog, and there ain't no dogs down in Miami right now. Bunch of kittens.
Yeah, I mean, a game went away. We did. Saquon tore it the fuck up.
Oh, yeah, dude. I mean, that's going to be – well, obviously we're going to preview the Super Bowl, so we won't get too far into it. But Saquon is the linchpin, right? That is what saved Sirianni's job. That is what made the Eagles competitive on every game this year. And he did nothing less but spectacular, smashing a team that they just lost to a couple weeks ago. So, I mean, that one exactly like you said. You prefaced it it leaned our way. We knew we bet the Eagles pretty much right out of the gate when we saw that spread, and that one was easy to. We didn't think it was going to be that. I didn't think they were going to put up a 50 burger. Not in the NFC Championship.
You don't see that
too
often.
You don't.
Okay,
So, all right. Deep breath, woosah, and then you let us have it, Downey. We'll give you the floor.
I am not you guys know this, people listen. I'm not a conspiracy theorist. I don't think that sports are can be fixed. I don't. I think what happened Sunday on some of that shit is unbelievable. I do not know how the first down call wasn't a first down, how it was it was clearly a first down. He's clearly at the marker. Then you have the fucking pick that's a catch, but not a catch, but a pick, but not a catch. Who knows what the fuck it is? It got called a catch, and then they review it, and it gets called a catch again.
That shit, the nose of the ball hit the ground definitively. The whole front of the football smacked the ground.
Both those plays were reviewed.
Yeah.
How the fuck didn't you see video evidence? We saw it. We were all sitting there. It was clearly a first down. It was clearly either an incomplete pass or an interception. It was not a catch. Then on the punt, to set up the scoring touchdown, there was 4 fucking holds, a block in the back, and those never get missed on kickoffs. How many times do you have a great kickoff or a great punt return that gets pulled back because
all the time
of a holding? There was 3 holdings and a fucking block in the back on that. And then there's the Kelsey standing over taunting thing, which I know second player always gets fucking penalized. Kelsey was taunting Hamlin, and the one Bill guy came up and pushed him away from Hamlin, and they threw the flag. Dude, the ref was standing there watching Kelsey taunt and then threw the flag because he got pushed off. I'm not a conspiracy theorist. I think you have the greatest coach of all time. You have the greatest quarterback of all time. You have a top 5 tight end of all time. You probably have a top 8 defensive tackle of all time. The shit that happens for the Chiefs games, I'm a Raider fan. I saw it on that Raider game too. This shit is getting a little much. It's getting a little weird. Josh Allen played his fucking heart out. And then now people are like, Josh can't win the big. Josh put up 29 fucking points. Josh has been if you look at Josh's stats throughout the playoffs in his career, he's up there with some of the best stats in playoff quarterback. Yeah. This is fucking shit is fucking pissing me off.
Buffalo's defense needed to be better.
And Sean McDermott, where the fuck you at? Did you show up to the fucking game? You're defense coordinator. Or supposed to be defensive minded. You didn't do shit.
But when it comes to the Chiefs.
And Joe Brady also doesn't deserve a head coaching job after that too. His play calling all year was pretty good. All of a sudden he tightened up. His sphincter tightened up and he went, please Josh, save my life. Do everything for me. I can't make a great play call. James Cook didn't touch the fucking ball on the last drive. How doesn't your second best offensive player not touch the ball on your last drive?
That's the world we live in now, though, is tie goes to the runner, and the runner is Patrick Mahomes. If it's a close call, you're not getting it if you're not the Chiefs. The Chiefs are getting it.
Dude, it just fucking drives me insane.
That's the world we live in.
I think Sean McDermott should be on the fucking hot seat as well. I don't know who you would hire. There's nobody on this carousel to hire. I think people would love to coach Josh Allen. Sean McDermott has got to be on the very hot seat of this. He does a great job during the season.
I don't think it was his coaching that lost the game, though. You know what I mean? Unfortunately, there was a lot of ways the cookies crumbled this time did not go their way.
Dude, the Chiefs didn't score over 30 points at any point in the season.
Well, yes, the defense was bad. They need help in that area. They need a number 1 option on offense. If they get those next season, then it'll be more of a match. I think they were a bit ahead of schedule this year, and they'll be docked for it because of how it ended. But that team was, I think they were playing above their heels, man. They didn't really have a true number 1. That defense at times looked good, but their pieces missing.
They failed.
Lost
they failed
agency.
James Cook was a top 5 running back this year.
That was nice to see because that had not been
hadn't been the case in
Buffalo.
Buffalo forever. But you gave away the ability to dictate the game when you go away from the run, only down by a score.
Correct.
You take away the guessing when it's just pass after pass after pass after pass.
And they can just bring the heat, and Spags can just bring the heat on you.
What are you doing?
Well, yeah, when you're a defensive coach and the Chiefs haven't scored this many points all year, and now they scored their most points.
I do think McDermott did mess up and not go over to Brady and be like, "Pardon me, sir, where's our run game?" Like, had that been a little bit more, because in the first half it was rather effective. Cook had a ton, and he was a little bit everywhere. And for some reason, not that JA is a terrible guy to put the game on. That's not the point I'm trying to make.
Yeah,
but
I think that's what just happened.
The balance of the offense has to remain. It has to remain, especially in the playoffs. Running games travel. And it wasn't being snubbed. That's the craziest part. Had James Cook had 17 touches for 50 yards, I could understand. All right, that was probably his game. He was 3 yards a carry. He had a couple of breakaways. He had a tud. He was impacting that game, and then you just ghost him on that.
Even through the throwing game, even the swing passes, get the ball in his hands.
It was not a good decision to go away from a really good weapon that you had all year. I think that's where they fumbled the bag in the fourth quarter.
Disappointing,
and
man.
It leads to, now you're also not wrong. There were a couple of calls or a couple of no calls that absolutely changed the dynamics of this game. And it's unfortunate we have to have the zebra debate again, because it's really sad when they impact the game on 3 to 4 really critical plays.
And it's worse when it goes to review. And you still come back with the same
super
thing.
slow-mo of the shit just hitting the ground, and you're like, what? You remember that explanation in the Seattle, San Francisco game?
Or the call where you see the football. You see the football.
That's what I'm saying.
First down.
There was that call on the kick that got touched by our player and then recovered by you, but it came back to us because it said that we never touched it. But then the at-home view, the high-def view, was easy enough to see the one finger.
If the audience can see it, how can the officials not? It's just...
That's a great way of putting it. That's exactly what it is, Money. That shit's trash.
And I would... lately it's every game. It's every game.
There's been one or two really boo-boo calls.
And looks really bad.
Egregious, I believe is the proper word.
Do we just got to hand it over to New York? I mean, is that even... Would they even get it right?
We put lasers in the football. We put markers. We do. We have the technology. Tennis has done it for years.
Yeah.
You're trying to tell me that the NFL, which is worth billions of dollars, can't
billions, baby.
Yeah, dude, more than you. They don't report their full earnings. No, they don't. Even though they're a $10 billion a fucking year industry.
But that leads to the Super Bowl matchup of Chiefs versus Eagles.
Preview.
Here we go. Bye or not.
My initial reaction is
this is what I'm
going to go watch a movie at the movie theaters during this, like I did for the Seahawks Patriots Super Bowl.
Wait, were we not getting together?
No, we are. I'm just saying that's.
I feel you. This is the matchup I think none of us wanted.
I could give a fuck less. Okay, so I'm either rooting for redemption or history. I'm rooting for history. I don't give a fuck if the Eagles win. I'd rather root for the Chiefs to get a 3-peat and see what we see. We've seen the greatest thing. I don't know. I do not. I don't know. I can't. I don't want to root for either fucking team.
I feel you there. I hope they both lose.
And I think it should be a pretty good matchup.
Well, you've had some bad blood with both of these teams in the last 3 to 4 years, with the NFC Championships and then with the Super Bowls. So
yes,
you don't like this matchup in any condition either.
Exactly. And I wasn't sure who I was going to root for. I don't know if I'm really rooting at all this game, but
sure.
When it comes down to it, I hated the Patriots era. I rooted against it, but my team never really challenged the Patriots. My team has challenged the Chiefs, and we have come up short.
Sure.
And because of that, it makes me hate the Chiefs so much that I want them to win. And I want them to win because I want the team that takes them down to be my team. I don't know.
So you want them to go to a fourth one next year?
I hope they do.
Niners?
I hope they do.
Okay.
Bring it to the Niners.
Right.
I want another shot at them. I want to be the team. I want to be the team.
I think I'd rather see history than redemption, is what I might be rooting for. I want to see a great game. We're going to be drinking hella beer, smoking hella cigars.
We are going to be
We smoked hella cigars at the fucking championship game.
Too many.
We cooked a lot of meat.
Hey, brother,
dude, that was a party, man.
Playing,
Oh, it
this
was,
is gonna be a party
It was.
too.
We smoked.
I made a good ass tri-tip.
Smoked cigars, cooked hella food. Butcher Boy everywhere. Chucked a tri-tip.
Trader Joe's is good too.
Trader Joe's was good.
We threw it out there for
dude,
sure.
we had a
I'm planning to make some shredded beef tacos. Is what I want to make for.
Yeah, we gotta get a count
for Super Bowl. I'm gonna make a big ass batch of them, and there's my guacamole too, because guacamole and chips.
Kai's bringing pulled pork, so we got two things on.
There you go.
Yeah, we'll figure it out. But let's get into a little fandom.
Oh, dude.
Charlie, start us off, brother.
All right, so we did comedy movies, right? Last week, and this is just comedians, right? Now this is more based off of like I really want to lean into stand up or just overall like the comedian itself. They might have had some bad movies here and there or whatever, but like, you know, if you find their brand of comedy or things of that nature hilarious, then I want you guys to bring it to the table. And the first name that comes to mind is easily Chappelle for me.
Yep.
As far as not only just his stand-up, both his early stuff when he was Skinny Chappelle, and then the Dave Chappelle Show, which is just still iconic, yeah. And then his later Netflix specials, his comeback tours and things like that. Just phenomenal. The guy's smart. He's hilarious. He's calculated. Like... And he's relatable. Like Chappelle is up there. He's god tier for me when it comes to like stand-up comedians.
For sure, especially the Chappelle Show. Like those skits were so fire,
iconic, dude.
Iconic.
There are still some Kobe. That's where that's from. That's where that's from. Him shooting the condom into the trash can
after the hurry up.
And he did a lot of movies too.
He's done some good movies. He's done some really shit movies, but
sure. But I mean, just like off the top of my head, just like the Half-Baked, the Men in Tights.
Oh, dude, yeah. No,
he was in Con Air, bro.
He is in Con Air.
He gets smurfed out real quick.
He does. Yep, he gets fucked up. But Men in Tights, he's good as the the token black guy, as it were.
Yeah, surprise.
No, and then I mean, it's funny. He's never really dipped his toe into like super serious roles, as it were. He's always kind of stayed in the comedy lane, and I can kind of appreciate that when it comes to like feature films, as it were. He was in like Pootie Tang. He's funny in that movie as a secondary character. He's better in movies as the two man rather than the one man, to be fair. And I think he realizes that, which is why you don't see a lot of like Dave Chappelle leading actor roles anymore. He did the Half-Baked was really about it.
I guess that's the closest thing to lead actor role.
But then, I mean, okay, another current era for me. He's kind of fallen off recently, but his early shit, Kevin Hart, is just his early stand-ups have made me laugh till my eyes water. All right.
Dude, his Shaq shit.
Oh, dude, when he's talking about yeah, I agree.
Dude, I think he's fucking just absolutely hilarious. He's one of the funniest dudes that I can think of right now. I did watch Bill Burr.
Oh, love Bill Burr.
And
absolutely,
he was
love
great.
Bill Burr. Good call.
Shane
Gillis,
dude, he's fucking
current.
Hilarious.
He's kind of come out of he's made a huge push recently, as it were. But I can't say I've ever seen anything with him that I didn't.
I watched it. Me and Angelique watched his Netflix. Dude, that was hilarious. Another one I saw live. So I've been to the Laugh Factory. Don't really remember anybody that was there. It was good.
Okay.
And then we went to in Reno. They have like this comedy thing that it just shows up. You have it's not at the same place. Like it's a different business.
Sure.
Those are good. But I also saw Bill the puppet guy. Bill is it Durham?
Durham. Wait.
Well, yeah, no, I know who you're referring to.
I saw
Bill Dunham.
Bill Dunham. I saw him live at the event center. Dude,
I've never been a big fan of ventriloquist humor kind of thing.
Oh, dude, it had me pissing my pants, dude. I was laughing my ass off.
Fair enough. I could see why you would enjoy it for sure. I had one that was in the front of my noggin that I just completely forgot. Early Eddie Murphy is iconic.
Robin Williams.
Far his stand-up. George Carlin. Oh, my sweet Lord. Please watch some George Carlin stand-up.
Robin Williams is crazy.
Dude, his HBO specials are fucking iconic, dude.
So coked out.
Oh, yeah. Oh, it's something. He's on something for sure. Or like Delirious or Raw by Eddie Murphy if you want some old school 80s
Eddie Murphy.
raunchy humor, dude. Oh, my Lord. Like Patrice O'Neal, please look him up if you ain't never heard of him. He is fucking hilarious, and he is just Bernie Mac. Okay, come on, right? The original Kings of Comedy, outside of fucking like even DL Hughley can throw down. He's funny. Steve Harvey hasn't done stand up in a while. He does like his TV show and the Family Feud, but Bernie Mac, man, oh my lord, that guy is just disgustingly hilarious, dude. Like,
rest in peace.
Cat Williams, I think he does some great stand-up. Like, I love stand-up. Oh, you guys fuck with Bo Burnham? You like the song style, like music? Like, I know you gotta like Rodney Carrington, right? You've had to have heard of him.
I've
right?
heard of him. He's all right.
I was gonna say he should be up your alley. But like the blue collar comedy, did you guys ever like get her done? You like the cable guy?
They're funny. Dude.
Oh yeah, throwback to Jeff Foxworthy, man. He's got some great stand-up.
That whole group is fucking hilarious.
Oh, that's true. Dude. Ron White and Bill Ingram can fucking throw down.
I preferred more the Anthony Jeselnik. I went to
that dark humor shit. Oh my
His timing
god,
is just wonderful.
You can't break that character.
We're going to Nikki Glazer.
Are you?
Yeah.
Excellent. Yeah. She's funny, man.
Funny.
And
she's
it's
funny,
it's
and
nice.
She's smoking hot.
It's nice that most women, let's be honest, are not funny. Okay, Nikki Glazer is fucking hilarious.
And smoking hot.
And she, she got kind of a lazy eye, but she's pretty good looking, dude. I mean, I like them tall with the tree trunks. Plus, she's got some raunchy humor, and it's not just about like like Lisa Lampanelli or like Amy Schumer. Yeah, just like, no, that's what I'm saying. Like some of these ones that have been championed, like Wanda Sykes, not very funny. You know who was funny back in the day that doesn't get enough credit is Whoopi Goldberg. Got her comeuppance in stand up, and she was pretty fucking funny. Sinbad, I got to see Sinbad live. He was hilarious, dude, and he's family friendly. He doesn't cuss. He was great.
That's like Matt Barznicki now. He's family friendly. The guy on Netflix, he's getting big.
Okay.
He's family friendly too, but he's getting big. His daughter brings him out on stage in the last Netflix show.
I have a question for you. Oh, go for it.
I was just also going to throw out, I always loved In Living Color with the Wayans brothers.
Oh, my Lord. Absolutely.
SNL, I mean, there's so many characters that they've had on SNL through the years.
Will Ferrell, his skits are fucking insane, dude.
Yeah,
Bill Hader.
Hader, Sudeikis.
Yeah.
Like, there's
oh, my
so
God,
many.
Jason Sudeikis, Jason Bateman. But now we're just talking like Peyton Manning. Peyton Manning's
Michael
funny.
Myers?
Hey, Peyton Manning is funny, dude. The Manning brothers, Peyton is funnier than Eli, but them together is good. He's a good two-man. He's a good two-man.
He's sneaky.
I love comedy. I love sneaky comedy like that, dude.
Even when back in the day when they had Mad TV too, like the impersonations, I really enjoyed.
Mad fan.
Yeah,
give
way
me
more
that
SNL
Will
than
Sasso, like Steven Seagal, like I just cracked up with that shit, man. It got me.
It's not to say that there's bad stuff on there, but like. Oh man, I love stand-up comedy. Dude, Chris Tucker
is pretty funny.
Chris
too.
Tucker back in the day was absolutely. Joe Coy now is funny. I laugh at his shit. Like Ralphie Barbosa. If you don't know who that is, look him up. He is fucking hilarious. He's like a younger kid out of Texas that he's got this real deadpan delivery, and he's hilarious. He's extremely relatable. Jeselnik is a great call though, man. I love that guy. That guy is so dark. Like you have to really let go of your boundaries if you're gonna watch one of his specials, because he's gonna say something where you're like, holy shit, dude. Like you're gonna piss off a large amount of people saying
and
that.
It's not just what he says is gonna piss off people, but he does it like in San Francisco where it'll piss off even more people. Just the hypersensitive.
I was walking down the street earlier and I saw a baby in a car, so I threw a rock at it to break the window. The window was down. I hit the baby. That's just what he does. That's Jeselnik. Oh, goodness. So I think we rattled off some good ones there, boys. You got anything left? Mitch Hedberg was the one I was going to throw out there. You ever remember Mitch Hedberg? Rice is great if you're hungry and you want like $1 million or something. An elevator can never be useless because even when it's broke, it just turns into stairs.
So next week we'll preview Super Bowl, look at some prop bets, kind of go through
that we
got to
come up with some proppers, dude. There's going to be some good ones for us to fucking hit for sure.
After that, I mean, we'll talk some more basketball. With the trade deadline coming up?
Yeah, well, the All-Star game's in 2 weeks, so the trade deadline is right before that.
Well,
that's why this trade was probably made right here.
Yeah.
We got about another week before the deadline is up.
Other than that, we'll hit a lot of Super Bowl prop bets. It's probably going to be a big thing. Let us know about your shit listers if we think of another.
Yes, please let us hear your favorite comedians. If we missed anybody, I feel like we covered a good grip of folk, but there's always more out there.
What are we going to do for fandom next week? We did comedy movies.
I don't know. We're going to work on that. You guys shout us out if you have, maybe we switch over to some sort of music.
I watched Extraction 2 with Chris Hemsworth.
And what'd you think?
Oh, dude, he kills a lot of fucking people in that movie.
We like the killings.
I do. I love action.
Well, follow us, Buzzsprout and Spotify for audio. YouTube, obviously, if you have Balls and Brews for the pretty faces.
Ryan Reynolds for comedy.
Oh, yeah, come on. Yeah, no kidding. I'm sorry. Thank you. Shout out. Let's throw back to that because everything he's done in like the last decade has been pretty funny. Ryan Reynolds.
Oh, yeah, Ryan Reynolds.
Dude, Deadpool, the OG Deadpools are hilarious. Like that one he does the switch up with him and Bateman. He's not stand-up. He's
That's
just
more
a
comedy movie.
Sure.
Switch up with him and Bateman
is
fucking outrageous.
Dude,
Call
so
back
yeah.
to the
No,
previous episode.
can't say he's not funny though. So
Dude, he's
hilarious. You're
hilarious.
right. So be sure to come back for Pod 83.
Yeah, maybe we'll do Hot Guys.
My guys.
Ryan Reynolds
Coming at
number
you.
one on that list.